shit. You know my. Yeah. Man, I gained 10 pounds eating the red and the green M&Ms, bro. I gained 10 pounds so quick. I'll stop it up today. How you brothers been for the week, man?
Oh, we've been good. We've been
good.
Good. We can't ignore the ratings. I mean, this light skin thing is working for me and Derik.
I heard it's more market. Where do we start?
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Let's Chop It Up with the brothers from Let's Chop It Up. Please follow us and like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Please give us ring the bell, get those notifications when we come on, and tell a friend about the show. You know, some couple fly-ass dudes you want to hang out with on Wednesday night. Ain't shit else to do but Wednesday. Hang out with us. What's going on, my brothers, man? How you been, man? What's up, Rod? How was your week, my man?
I had an eventful week. I did a lot of stuff this week besides rest. I saw 2 movies. I got my car back from the accident. Came out really nice. Did some stuff with the kids, but the movies were the 2 most I saw James Bond and I saw the new Halloween.
What'd you think about the movie?
Well, let's start with James Bond. Well, you know what? Let's actually start with the theater.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on in the movie theater. I know we got some supply chain issues and all that stuff, but dude, we went to the movie theater. They ain't had no ketchup.
Nah.
It was a ketchup shortage. Remember the ketchup shortage this year?
Well, obviously, they definitely is a ketchup shortage in the movie theater. They didn't have no ketchup. Barely had any napkins. Then we went the second time to see Halloween. They didn't have barely had any candy.
I thought you said they had no movies.
No, they had a movie. They barely had no candy. They didn't have no butter for the popcorn. You had to go upstairs and get butter. I'm like, yo, what is going on here? They I don't even know why the recession stand was open. It didn't make no sense. They ain't have shit.
This is on Long Island or Brownsville?
No, I don't. Come on, G, stop it.
Yo, did you call it a recession stand? Did he say recession?
Yeah, it was a recession stand. I'm glad that you caught that. So, they didn't have no stuff. But James Bond, let's start with James Bond. James Bond was pretty good. I thought it was worth seeing. A lot of action or whatever. I don't want to give too much of it away. They actually, James Bond had retired, so they actually had a sister that actually replaced him as 007, which was pretty cool. But I don't want to give too much of it away, but I definitely say it was definitely worth seeing. But Halloween, I'm not a horror flick guy, but I'll be totally honest with you. I was rooting for Michael Myers to kill everybody in that goddamn town. No, the thing is this. I wanted Michael Myers to kill everybody in that town because that's the stupidest town I ever seen. Every year this guy comes back, kills people, and you won't move out the town. I don't understand. You can't shoot him. You can't stab him. You can't burn him. He keeps coming back. Guess what, guys? It's time to move. You can't live there.
Yeah, that's right. He's not letting gentrification come in that neighborhood.
Dude, it's just crazy. Those were the dumbest people I ever seen in my life.
Oh, man.
I was deaf. I was in the movie theater saying, "Get him, Mike! Get him! Kill all their asses."
Rodney, does anybody finally live in the house? Because he goes to the house every time he come back.
Well, people have moved into the house.
No, really?
Yeah, there's. I don't want to. I'm going to say it.
I'm not going to say it, so you can tell. I don't care.
No, there was a gay.
Spoiler alert! We're telling everybody now.
There was a male gay couple that bought the house and they were living in it together.
Of course, yeah.
So I guess Mike wanted them out of there. So he got their asses. He got them. But I was cheering for Mike the whole movie, man. The whole movie.
How is it real to put that house on the market? Like, what do you say to rent that house out?
Well, and the thing is, the 2 new owners knew that it was Michael Myers' house.
Of course they did.
And that's what I'm saying. Kill everybody in the town because y'all too stupid to move.
You're right about that. Key ingredient. Every good horror.
Yeah. But that's pretty much the bulk of my week. You know what I mean? Of course, you know me. I usually get my rest. At least 6 naps a week. But other than that, everything is good.
No, it is, Rod. Those guys that came in that neighborhood that tried to gentrify that neighborhood, they thought they was gonna go to community board and complain about Mike.
No, you can't. Michael kill a community board.
I was saying, but we're gonna go to community board about this guy. He can't walk around with this machete.
Yeah. Yo, D, why was you waving your finger like that?
Oh, no, right now, my finger is hurt. I hit it against something.
Oh, you were just airing it out.
Yeah, just like the way it just. Yeah. Anyhow, Derik, man, how was your week, man?
Hey, man, my week was on fire, baby. Everything was on fire. I had a ball, man. Hey, listen, between karaoke and talking to my son, man. By the way, I love karaoke, y'all. Y'all gotta see me. It's something. It's something to behold.
I need to see that. I need to see that.
Every song, man. You know.
Are you a sober karaoke guy
Absolutely
or intoxicated?
Not, bro. Better, listen. The more you drink, the better I sound. That is my motto, bro. You know what I'm saying? But we had a ball, man. And between that and talking to I had a call from my oldest son, so that was really good. You know, that's always brings me up into a higher spirits. And then the only thing, and then I'm doing a lot of looking around for a car right now too. Anybody can help me with that. My oldest, my goddaughter is we're looking for a vehicle for her, so that's been a lot of my time right there. But I'm just enjoying family, man. Just enjoying family. By the way, there are no used cars out there right now.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Hard.
It's really hard right now.
The prices of used cars went up, a lot.
Yeah, no, big time, man. Big time, man. And they know it. That's the crazy thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the used car salesman, the owner, he just like jacked up a price. His dealer's fee, he just threw that on top. And I'm like, I'm trying to make, you know, he told me. He charged me the dealer's fee, something like $600 or whatever it was, you know, just a used car, just because he could. He told me that literally, like, because I can, you know, because I'm gonna move it anyway. I'm like, okay, so we walked out, you know.
Yeah, you won't be moving it with us.
No, exactly, right. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, you know, that was it. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough getting a car. But other than that, man, you know, spending time with my kids, man, and family, and I'm here with you guys, man. So I'm real good now. So let's go.
I'm gonna give you a suggestion, Derik. Check the community boards at the senior citizens homes. Sometimes elderly people are selling cars, they getting off the road, or they, you know, trying to get rid of a car that they had. So I would check that. You know,
that's what's up. Yeah. All right.
That makes actually sense because they ain't gonna be using it no time soon.
Yeah, no, I ain't thought about that at all. Yeah, that's out the box right there. Absolutely. What's up with you, Kelvin?
Yeah, what up, Kelvin?
Oh man, so the week was cool. I'm really excited about this week because my nephew is coming home for the first time in 2 years. I haven't seen him since 2019 in person. So I'm excited about him coming home, and he'll be here Thursday. So I have a chance to take him to see a Knicks game and everything like that. So, you know, I'm excited about that. You know, I had an idea I want to run across everybody, and I was thinking about it. So this is a very sensitive subject. You know, I was thinking the other day about organizing a heterosexual day parade. And I thought about it and I said, I don't want people to think that, like, you know, it would be trying to mock the gay community. But I was thinking about, and I want to know how people would take this honestly. If, you know, because the LGBTQ community has been very, very vocal in how young people should feel about their sexuality and their right to choose and things like that. And I wonder, do heterosexual kids kind of feel like they get a little lost, that nobody talks about them? And it's just one of those things where I'm just curious if we did something that can honor, you know, young people just coming to their own sexuality if they're heterosexual as well, and do something like that. So I'm curious what the audience would think. I'm curious what people think. And I know at the first glance, people will be like, "Oh, you're trying to mock the gay community or something like that." I wouldn't do that. I'm not an antagonist, and I think everybody that knows on this show, we joke, but we're not mean spirited. None of us would do the show if we were mean spirited. But I mean, I just really think about that because young people, as they're forming and things like that, there's a lot of peer pressure out there and things like that. So nobody ever really talks about heterosexual kids. Nobody really talks about that anymore. So, you know, I'm just curious what that would be. And I was saying it may be nice to, you know, let them have a moment too, celebrate that. So maybe have like a little parade or a get together for the kids, you know, and not exclude people, just be like, oh, you know, you matter too, you know, people think about you too. And there's nothing wrong with the way you coming into your own sexuality too. That's how I came into my own sexuality. You just started liking girls. That was nobody told me about it. I ain't choose it. It was just on me. That was just what it was. So if other people can express how they feel, I think heterosexual kids can express the way they feel as well. So I was thinking about that, But other than that, my week has been pretty good. Getting ready for this cold weather, and always anticipating that. With cold weather, to change the season, comes some new bills. And so now I'm getting ready to go into this cold season, get the boiler right. But other than that, I'm ready. And I feel really good because this is a monumental. This is our first show of our second year. So this is going to be hot. I'm looking forward to it. We got some big surprises on the way, and we're going to take another leap. And I tell you, our subscribers have really, really been faithful. They've been jumping. I mean, we've been moving. So thank you to everybody that's watching. And let's keep it going. So continue chopping things up. But the week's been good. D, how was your week?
My week was actually boring. I mean, just work related, nothing spectacular. I'm just beat, tired, long days, physical therapy early in the morning, kicking my ass, getting off work late. There's nothing much, man. There's nothing crazy with me, bro.
How you healing? How you coming along?
Coming along pretty good. They want me tomorrow's my first day to be without. Well, tell me to be without my cane in the house, but in the street, always keep the cane still. So it's, it bending it and stuff like that, and stretching out. Yeah, so trying to still get some of the swelling out. So,
D, you going to PT?
Yeah, man.
How many days a week you go to PT?
Right now I've been going twice a week. Supposed to go 3 times a week, but I can't get the third day because my schedule's kind of bugged out.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been all right. My next time I'll go back is because I'm going out of town, so it'll be next Monday. I think it is your Monday.
All right, don't worry, you'll get there, brother. You'll get there.
Right now I'm just hip hopping around, man. Just hip hopping around, man.
Yeah.
So let's get to it, y'all. So anything else on your mind, Kelvin? Anything crazy, man? You good?
All right. Let me just tell you.
Before I get started, I want to make sure you get all this shit out. Go ahead, man.
I just want to talk about some foolishness. And I'm not directing this at any community in particular, okay? But I just want to end the debate today so people know and understand, all right? Especially my people, especially the natives. Let me say this. The L in salmon is silent, okay? I want everybody to understand that, all right? I mean, sick of us going to the restaurant tomorrow, I have the salmon, okay? There's no such thing as salmon. There's no fish named salmon, okay? And I want everybody to know that the W in sword is silent also, okay?
Oh, it's not a sword.
Okay, so I don't blame you. I blame the New York City school system, okay? So I just want to say this. Salmon and swordfish, okay? I want everybody to write it down, put it on the index card.
What about squimps?
Scripts, right?
Yeah.
So that's my this is foolishness moment, because this is some foolishness when you grown, you know what I'm saying, and you go to like the fancy restaurants like Ruby Tuesdays. Let me get the salmon. They had the nerve to try to enunciate like salmon. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was I was out with somebody one time, and I didn't want to correct them, right? Then here come the waitress talking about, well, you like the salmon? I'm like, I can't believe it. I had to teach both of them at the same time. I'm like, I know y'all was wrong. But anyway, that was my moment. That's my moment. Other than that, man. I'm good. So I just want everybody to know, because if you was in doubt, Google won't tell you that. But go ahead.
Hilarious, man. All right, let's see what we got first on the chopping block tonight. Colin Powell passed away the other day at the age of 84 years old. Served our country. There you go. Their brother from the Bronx.
Yep.
New York in the building. Any thoughts on his brother? We just lost his brother here.
Yeah, I really had a lot of respect for Colin Powell, and I think what he did and accomplished was really monumental. My father was Air Force, grandfather was Navy, so I have a lot of respect for servicemen and women. And he reached about as high as you can go. I believe at one time was the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and obviously Secretary of State. And so I commend him. I commend him for his accomplishments.
Rodney?
No, I just want to say my prayers go out to his family, and yeah, Colin Powell made his mark in history, and like I said, my prayers go out to his family.
Yep, beautiful man. Um, True American. What do you call it? It's a good story for us, man. For black men, just being able to come up and see how far you can get in life, man. He really put in his work, served his country, served his community, held himself in high esteem. Carried himself well, and he was a great role model for a lot of people. I didn't always agree with his side of the politics, personally, but I always felt that he was worthy and deserving of utmost respect. So really carried himself well. So rest in peace. Yeah.
Well said, brother.
That's it.
Yeah.
Brother Colin Powell.
Yep.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
Simone. What's up, Simone? How you doing, my sister? What's going on with you? Simone, we don't know what city are you from, man. Let us know that. Where you from, sis? Put it in the chat when you get a chance. 65 NYC New York City cops face this departmental misconduct charge in a George Floyd protest. I want to go with my man Roddy Rod on this because you come from that background. You probably work with these son of a bitches.
Here we go.
Nah, I know. Like, it's 65. It seems like a lot, but we got to take in consideration that was during the time that there was a lot of riots in the city. They were setting fires in Manhattan and all that stuff like that. So usually after riots, not to say that anybody didn't do anything wrong, but usually after riots, you got to expect a high number of complaints coming down from police officers at the civilian review board. But to me, this is typical. It's normal, and some of those guys are going to face some serious departmental charges. I don't think anybody's going to get fired unless they have some cases where they have things on video. But most people are going to lose probably like a lot of vacation days, because basically that's pretty much the number one way they punish police officers is taking vacation days from them, which is actually a lot of money because those are days that you're going to be home that you get paid for, and you won't have those days.
How many vacation days do New York City cops get, right?
A lot. It also depends on how long you got on. Like once you're like
is it 5 weeks, 4 weeks?
It's 5 weeks. It's like 5 weeks, and plus you get sick time and stuff like that. So, and then you can also build time as well. Like so you can take your overtime and time, and that goes into your vacation kitty as well. So officers, they in a way, like it's a very stressful job. You should get some time off. I always took advantage of my time off. We know you get some rest.
We know you get rest.
I get my rest, but I took my 5 weeks every year. So. But yeah, they get a lot of vacation days, but especially once you get the top pay.
So, what question? Because I'm just saying, like these guys lose time. Does they time roll over if you don't use it, or you got to use it within that year?
No, it rolls over.
Oh shit!
It rolls over.
So these guys might take time away, but they might still have time to have vacation.
You can wind up building like thousands of hours on the books from taking like overtime and time and not using all your 5 weeks vacation a year. So you have people that have thousands and thousands of hours on the books that they can use when they can. But yeah, you can accumulate a lot of time.
Kelvin, any thoughts, Derik?
Hey man, you said something. That is a highly stressful job. Let's acknowledge that.
Yeah, it is. Right? It is. I will never not say that it's not stressful.
Right. That said, at what point do you just say, hey, listen, common sense, like where does the training come in? Because you got a lot of people, I know I know there are protests and all of that happening, and I know that's a highly stressful situation, I'm sure, but what kind of where does the training part kick in for these people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like we keep hearing more and more of this, and always the solution is, well, there needs to be more training. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, what are they training? Like, what does the training look like for that? Because it seems like whatever they're doing
It ain't working.
Yeah, but here go my question. If I had them 65 officers, my question would have been to them: when you saw your fellow officer on the other side of that door, other side of that glass, did you not see another officer, or what did you see? Did your racism, or what your beliefs rather? I guess you won't say racism. Your beliefs are more than that officer that you saw. Now, did you ever take themselves out of who they are and say, "I'm gonna put myself in that officer over there that I'm about to attack"? Did they see themselves as the criminals that they try to arrest that go protest against them? What did they see that other officer as?
When you say other officer, what do you mean? Like,
I
mean?
I think you're talking about what happened at the Capitol, or you talking about what happened with the George Floyd? Because we're talking about George Floyd.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
We're talking about the George Floyd protesters.
Yeah, my bad.
And I think what happens right now, Rodney, and I think Derik may have touched on it. It seems like the relationship with people and police is so different. You know, when I was a kid, we was really taught that police was really helpful. Today, the era people are having, it's such a divide now. And I wonder if there is a way to kind of bridge this gap between the community and the police ever again. I know there were things that changed. There are different techniques like, community policing and things that people say they've abandoned. But I don't know. First of all, they're having a problem with people wanting to be police now. They have a problem, I think people are retiring early if they can. I think people because a lot of police feel like we just consider just the bad guys. So I'm just getting out. And then you have a percentage that are the bad guy, which is probably a low percentage, I would assume. We got over 36,000 police officers in New York City. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You probably have some states that don't have 37,000. That's a small army or whatever.
Bigger than some towns.
So now, if Eric Adams comes in, and we all believe he's going to come in and be the next mayor, Rodney, what could you do to try to change kind of the image of police officers as it relates to the people they serve, or you think it's a ship that has already sailed?
Part of me does feel it's a ship that's kind of already sailed. When I was on a job, one of the biggest problems with New York City policing that I saw was it was too much of a numbers game. The community is seen as numbers and not people. And that's one of the biggest problems. I said this on a show that before, like the cops are under so much pressure to get numbers like summonses, arrests, and productivity. And no matter how much you bring crime down in a certain area, they still want those same numbers, which are not there no more. So now when those numbers are not there, you're basically sending the cops out to basically harass the community to try to get these numbers. That's what you're doing. So these are going to create, they're going to create incidents. Most of them are going to be negative incidents. Right. So until they get rid of the numbers game, it's not going to change. It's not going to change at all, because that's what it is at the end of the day. You got a commanding officer of a command that basically has to go to CompStat, and he has to prove his existence of what he's doing to tackle certain crime in his precinct. And he's doing whatever it takes to get those numbers down so he can look good, so he can continue to get promoted. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to,
Gotcha.
Yeah. But they have to stop the numbers game. I mean, when I first came on, the numbers weren't so prevalent, and that basically cops went out there and they had discretion, and you had also community policing back then. So you had cops that were actually walking beats back then and interacting with the community, the store owners, and stuff like that. Those days are gone. Police officer Kelly, he took all that away.
But how does that play into the protests? Like you mentioned, the numbers game. How does that work? Because this is a situation. This is a very acute situation. You know what I mean? Well, it's like you got a situation going on now. Is there what's the connection?
Well, the thing is, like I was saying earlier, like in the situation with the George Floyd protests or whatever, I mean, we got to come to some understanding that there were people there that were agitating certain situations. And there were people there that were just peacefully protesting. Now, when you got a mixture of those, and then you got cops working 12, 13, 14, 15 hours for the day, I mean, we can't take out of it that these people are human too.
So
you're tired.
Situation,
you're tired. You got a long day. Everybody's yelling at you, cursing at you. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of got to see it from both sides. I mean, I've been in it. Everybody hates you at that moment because you represent something that they're actually protesting against. but they don't know you personally. And the thing is, the officers are not properly trained to handle that emotionally. They're not at all. Not at all. And then some people, guess what, have shorter fuses than others. And you'll find out very quickly whose fuse are short.
It's hard for me to understand. I once had to sit on a man an entire half hour, and wait for the police to come in, and take him away. And never once did I violate the man, believe me, I was agitated, and I really wanted to get at him, but I managed to not violate him. I managed to treat him with respect and everything. It's just hard for me to understand why that can't be done consistently, and I've had no training. You know what I mean? It's just kind of hard for me to understand.
But you know what I would think? I would think also, Derik, to be fair, you got some of them that's got to deal with a certain element every day.
Day in and day out.
Single day. And for every person that's real cool and people have done foul, there's some people out there that are really, really foul. And I think what would happen, I would just assume human nature. If you deal, it's almost like being a CEO. If you deal with that rung of the ladder all the time, somewhere along the line, it's going to get on you. It's going to get on you. And eventually, you know what I'm saying? Now, what I've seen a lot of young, immature cops, and that's disturbing. I remember I did an event once, and there were some cops. They were like 20, 21, 22 years old. They trying to stop girls at the corner, in their cars and talk to them and stuff like that. So, I think part of this is some seasoning that has to happen too. Because you 21, 22 years old, you barely an adult, and you got that much authority. So that's I'm sure, Rodney, you probably seen some people come through there and you like, they ain't gonna be here for the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people come on and that basically, in my opinion, that they shouldn't be police officers, but that's on every job. There's right. There's going to be bad seeds in every job.
Right.
You brought up a point, Kelvin, a guy that's 21, 22, 23 years old, and then now he's going to be responding to people's homes, going in their homes, telling people twice his age sometimes what to do.
Right.
So then the thing is, sometimes people can't handle authority well. They don't see it from the other people's side because maybe they live differently, so they can't relate to the community that they're actually serving. Some of this stuff looks foreign to them, and then you start to get a mindset where everybody in that community is bad, which is not the case. It's not the case at all. I mean, I've had discussions with officers and they say, oh, this place is terrible. It's a shithole or whatever. I said, dude, where you live? And they'll name somewhere out in Suffolk or Nassau. And I said, dude, do you realize the houses here are worth twice the value of your house where you live? Right. So everybody here ain't no piece of shit. Some of these people is homeowners, business owners, or whatever. Everybody's not a piece of shit.
Right. Right. Definitely.
But when you're not educated about a community you're serving, these are the things in the statements that's going to be made. And then when you have a certain bad culture that teaches the young negative, then this is what's going to happen.
We essentially become an occupying force, and that's just the kind of feel that there is right now for a lot of people.
This is. I'm sorry, Derik. Let me just say this lastly. I worked with a guy once who used to sell drugs for a cop. And Rodney, that's the craziest contradiction I ever seen. And I remember him telling me, he was like, look, man. He was like, I actually used to sell drugs to this cop over in Ozone Park. He said all the kids in the neighborhood sell drugs to this guy.
Sell for him or to him?
No, for him. Oh. So this guy, literally, there was a cop that had all the kids in the neighborhood pretty much selling drugs. I mean, that's so right. Part of it is like, okay, so you turn around and ask those kids to respect law enforcement, they never will. But to be in that situation, that has got to be the worst when it comes to breaking trust or code. Because remember how the drug game was in the 80s and stuff like that. It was so much money out there. I know there had to be cops that was involved in it. Back in the day was making $35,000 a year to start, and then you arresting kids that's making that every other week.
Let me tell you something. There was the corruption in the 70s and 80s, even in the 60s, was tremendous. It was totally tremendous. I mean, you had cops not only taking drugs, selling drugs. Some cops were using drugs too. I mean, NYPD definitely has a history of corruption, just like any other police department. There are going to be bad seeds on it that take advantage of the opportunities. and they're going to make a lot of money. You know, they were police when I first came on the job, and I worked with cops whose fathers who were on the job as detectives, and they lived in neighborhoods where they had like $1 million homes. But the time that their father was on the job, he obviously was taken, because how else were you able to afford that home out in that neighborhood?
Mm-hmm. Look at the documentary you might give the chance for the 7-5. I think it's on
Correct.
Netflix.
Correct.
Oh, the 75th in Brooklyn is notorious.
What's the guy's name?
I can see his face. I know he's talking about.
I can see his face 100 times. He was the guy that actually changed the job, because they created the Marlin Commission as a result of him. I can't think of his name. Michael Dow.
Yeah.
Michael Dow was basically a very corrupt cop. He was a drug user. He was stealing money. He did everything under the sun, and thought he could never be touched.
And Kelvin, I think their salary back then was $28,500. I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back then, $28,000 job, that was a lot of money. But I mean, he was making much more than that, probably stealing.
Yeah, remember he came to work with a Corvette and all kind of shit.
Yeah, he had a Corvette. I think he had a boat too, and everything. Yeah. See, the thing is, there was a rule back in the days, like you had to report police officers when you were like a desk sergeant, like you had to keep track of their checks, because some guys were taking so much money that they weren't even taking their checks back in the day out the box. So their checks would just sit in there and pile up. So then they came up with a rule that, because they saw that as a sign, that you had to record the paychecks in the command log. But that's the reason for that, because these guys weren't taking their checks. That's how much money they were making.
Damn. Must be nice.
Yeah. Until you get caught.
You get caught. Word. Speaking of somebody that want to check, Haitian gangs blaming for kidnapping U.S. and Canadian missionaries. I think these guys, they kidnapped 17 people, and I think they're asking for $1 million per person that's getting kidnapped. So
$17 million.
17 million, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts on this, gentleman?
Must not be no black folks, man. No, we don't make. It's old saying, we make terrible prisoners, right?
Yeah, terrible hostages. Yeah.
I don't know, man. $1 million a person? They think we work that much? Who are these people?
So were they responding to the recent earthquake? That's why they were over there?
Yeah, they were missionaries. They were there to help. You know what I mean?
Is there anything, was there any political thing behind this other than just trying to get some type of money? Because obviously the world, the eyes of the world are on that country with everything that has happened. And then, I saw some people with signs up saying, let the Americans free. Obviously, they feel Americans are over there to help. But was there anything else about that?
What up, Suge?
What up, Suge? How you doing, baby?
Any other reason? Was there like a political thing behind it other than just money? Is that
I don't know. I know this is.
Haven't said anything. I've never found it.
Nah, but they've been kidnapping people in Haiti for a while. I know some friends of mine that are from Haiti. They don't want to go because they are American. They won't be that kind of crazy ransom, but they can't. If they came in town or whatever in the country, people will know, and they will want some kind of small ransom for them. So they are kidnapping black folks too. So
what I've noticed is people. If you look at people that come to this country,
oh, that's true, Tiger.
All of their relatives, like I know people that are from Dominican Republic or from Haiti or whatever. A lot of their relatives that are in their home country think they're rich because they're in America. And so, they can do things for them and things. So when they come back, it's always a big thing, supplies and whatever like that. So when you go to certain places, you already know you're a target. They know, and then
I just don't know how they think those people are worth $1 million a pop, man. Like who are they? Like who you?
They're worth it to somebody. They're worth it to somebody.
Yo, of course, listen, it was my wife. She'd be worth it to me, but I don't have, I don't have $1 million scale. You know what I'm saying?
You think they're going to get the $1 million scale?
That's
no, they don't think they're going to get the $1 million.
Yeah, the thing is, it's, in my opinion, the way I look at it is, it's not too smart of a game, because they're not going to get that money.
No,
and the thing is, you ever hear the saying, like, we don't negotiate with terrorists? Because that's what they're doing. They're doing a terrorist act right now.
Yeah, that's what they're going to get.
what's going to eventually happen is they're going to have to go in there and take them out. That's what's going to wind up happening because they're not going to get $1 million, $17 million. And then if you say this far-fetched, they give it to them. Like, where you going to go after that? They're going to go in there and tear you up once they get the missionaries back.
And then the other thing you got to think about, if you solicit help from this country to send people to help when your country's in trouble, especially in a country that has suffered like that, you never know. An administration may say, all right, if our people can't be safe there, we're not going to send aid or send help. That's a possibility. People feel like, if we're going to send people, we're going to put people on the ground to help. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, the government's not sending missionaries, but what I'm saying is, if you do that, people can retract if they want.
These missionaries are Americans, right?
Right, but the government doesn't send religious groups over there. Well, I'm just saying,
they won't do it no more.
Right, but what I'm saying is, are they going to, somebody that's going to say, hey, are we going to go over there to help, or donate, whatever like that? Even other religious groups would say, hey, we may not go.
Right, or is another foreign nation going to take interest in Haiti and decide that we are going to liberate these 17 people, and while we're there, we're going to keep our troops there because the whole place is in complete disarray. We're going to bring freedom to Haiti as America does, so to speak, under such, circumstances, so to speak. We're going to bring some order to Haiti. I don't know what, we don't know. So I think Haiti has had enough of a history where people kind of come into that country and occupy and have their own way with the place, so I don't know.
It's gonna be hard on tourism.
Yeah.
Even if you want to go like a vacation, you want to support black countries and stuff like that, it's gonna be hard for people to say like
on the heels of them losing their president as well. Don't forget about that. You just had a president assassinated. So that's a political tinderbox there. Negotiations, we use another country to make a payoff. Yeah, you probably got a point there. Yeah.
You know how I know we have a chemistry? Because the first time ever, I think I read Rodney's thought, just looking at his expression. So
I didn't say it though.
All I say is, Rodney, I understand your point. I'm sorry. I gave you like a point guard. He just hit me with a no look pass. I'm sorry, but good point, Derik. Good point.
Yeah, man. This is a crazy story here, man. Hold your seats for this one. Riders watch as a woman was raped on a SEPTA train, but no one called 911. These people actually were filming this with their cell phones.
They weren't filming that. People weren't filming that, were they?
They were filming it, trying to get on social media. I don't know, somebody trying to be a witness or social media. So allegedly, I'm gonna throw the word out allegedly. But no one came to this person aid and watched this person get raped, sexually assaulted.
That ain't possible. That's not possible. There must have been like a camera on the train or something, because people would not sit there and film that.
Shit.
It just
wouldn't happen.
Wouldn't happen.
Derik, where you been?
Rodney, please.
I'm going to my listen. I'm right now. I'm in my quiet place.
We said the SEPTA. This is Philadelphia.
You would like to believe that wouldn't happen.
This is Philly.
In my mind, in my world, that one, I don't care where it was. In my world, that would not happen. I don't know what world y'all live in, but in mine,
we're saying that this is the way society is going. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. It definitely happened. I mean, would you sit back and watch happen? Of course not. You wouldn't sit back. I don't think anybody here would sit back and watch that happen. But this is the society that is starting to happen. You got to realize we're a society now where you see a heinous act and your first instinct is to take out your phone and start filming it. That's people's reaction now. I mean, I'm disgusted by it to hear that some people would sit back and watch this, but I believe it happened.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the video. It hasn't happened. I can't. People are not.
I mean,
I can't believe it. People are not.
Some people are afraid to intervene. Some people are afraid to intervene, but I think I agree with you all. I can't imagine that. Like, I can't imagine anybody sitting there watching a woman or a child in distress and not intervening in some way. And I mean, to me, think about it. We covered the story when the concierge watched somebody, punch a woman and didn't do anything. So, that's where we're at now. That's where we're at. But to do that on a train in an enclosed environment that you're sitting there in the same area as the perpetrator and you do nothing, at this point, several people, especially if there's men on the train, you would think would act.
There were no men on that train. I promise you that. You know.
Well, that's true. I agree with Derek. In the definition of man, there were probably no men on the train.
If that happened.
But I think that a lot of people today, they're just not built to be able to do something about something like that. You know, they're just more worried about themselves and going about their day. The average person walking around, I mean, you got to realize, I did 22 years on NYPD. I've seen some of the worst of the worst. You know, I've seen people watch old ladies get their pocketbook snatched and knocked down, and nobody did nothing. You know?
Yeah, that's yeah. You like that's what do. Go ahead, Derek.
Literal rape, though. That's something different. There's something that is so demonic and intimate and just completely invasive about that, man, that it just boggles my mind that nobody could say nothing. Like a whole train full of people, nobody could pull them off, nobody could do anything, you know, that other than sit there and film. I saw where they I don't know that I saw where they said I guess it was a spokesperson. It said someone should have called 911. You know, I mean, and maybe it wouldn't have happened. I don't think calling 911 would have helped, because by the time he's bold enough to do that, then you know he's not going to worry about somebody calling 911, and they're not going to get there before he's done. Somebody needs to physically do something, you know. And I just can't believe that we don't have enough people, that we just don't have a wherewithal of, I don't know, intestinal fortitude or whatever you want to call it, to just kind of physically stop this dude, man. Stop something like that from happening. Step in, you know. That shouldn't even be an issue. So I don't know. That's just my little soapbox. I'm getting off my soapbox. I can't believe that. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Sad, man. Very sad. Georgia high school only punished black students after Confederate flag protest. So I think it was some protest with the young black students that was protesting this Confederate flag. I think the white kids that were wearing the Confederate flag or supporting the Confederate flags actually spoke over the black students and said, we have white privilege, because this would never happen to us, which to show that the black students got in trouble as soon as when this protest happened. Any thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Did you say Georgia? I mean, I keep you know, saying something. Atlanta is in Georgia, but Georgia, all of Georgia is not Atlanta. Like, people need to understand. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, there has been a long-running history with a lot of these states, especially in the Deep South, that is always going to present this reaction. That's just what it is. And to some people, they're always going to defend that. And it's a culture. It's part of the fabric, you know. So I mean, I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not. It's just what it is, you know. And people think because so many people have migrated back to the South that the South has changed. To me, the South isn't. Every time I go down to the South, there's a reminder. Right. I always sense it. I always feel it. It is always this thing. And you can, you know, people say it's more discreet in the North. I'll take that though. You know what I mean? At least fool somebody. But there, I mean, it's just very, very blatant. So that doesn't surprise me at all. And that Confederate flag, there is a loyalty pledge to that flag. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the loyalty we saw January 6th. That loyalty is combined with fanaticism. You know what I mean? And so some people feel like that's a banner that they stand under. And as a result, not shocking at all, you know?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that fabric of the South change in our lifetimes. I really don't. I hate to say it, but that's just the way I see it. I mean, they say that's part of their heritage, that's part of their history, and you can see they're passing it on to their kids. And then when you hear them talk, everybody got a different explanation for that flag, you know. So it's not even the same. It's not even the same story that they stick to. It's all spread out with nonsense and ignorance.
Yeah. It's tribalism, man. Yeah, you know, the tribalism it's just. I think the South is more noticeably tribal. You know, they don't hide, like you say, they don't hide it. They don't have to. It's just part of their culture. You know, is it worse than the North? I don't know. Kelvin likes it better in the North where they hide it. I don't know if I prefer that. You know, but from what I understand, the worst state is Oregon. If you want to hear about it, they actually had some stuff they actually had laws when it was that kept people out, that kept black slaves out of Oregon. That was like it was literally illegal to be black in Oregon. So they have the worst history.
Yeah, but this school thing, man, it's going back. Just want to go back to the school thing. I think we got to figure we got to start somehow, some way having our own education curriculum. But this is insane that these young people will keep on getting violated over and over again with the things they do. That is a double standard in these schools. I've seen black boys are higher rate against suspension than any other person in the school. Now we got these black kids that just protesting against the people that were protesting for some shit that's like disrespectful to folks. And it's just the double standard. The chancellor of schools in Georgia, I don't know who he is. Maybe we need to find out who he is, and wanted to see what his thoughts were. Did he have any comments on this?
I don't know, but you mentioned something just then, D, where you mentioned black children receiving worse discipline, harsher discipline, and that's everywhere. That's just not just Georgia. That's here in New York as well. So maybe we need to have that conversation, or maybe this is just an example of that conversation. The fact that our children do receive harsher discipline for essentially the same act or a comparable act. Although I would argue that theirs was probably worse. So maybe and what's the cause of that? Why does that keep happening to our children? How do we keep that from happening? So that's something I think we probably need to start talking about instead of necessarily, the subject of racism and something like that.
Well, let me clarify what I was saying, Derik, because you make a good point. I was saying I don't really see that flag flying here in New York.
Oh,
I'm sure.
They live in Long Island. It's a little different.
I've seen it in Long Island.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, in other words, the reality of it is this: that it exists, that it's around. It's just not, as prevalent as far as the public display. Now, you're right. I grew up in Long Island, so I understand. I know where those lines are drawn.
I saw it last year.
But it's like one of those things. Well, I put it like this. However many times you saw it, you go down south. You got monuments up with it. You know what I'm saying?
I live in Tennessee 13 years. The racist condensation, there's underlying thread through the social construct in that area. Absolutely. We're used to that. Growing up in Long Island, we have our own little history. As diverse as Long Island is, it's also the most segregated place in the nation.
Yeah.
All right. So we definitely know all about that.
But I agree with D. It's not going to change. You can't wait for it to change. You'd have to do what you have to do. But it's not going to change. Nobody's going to, like I said, nobody gives you anything without some type of resistance. So if you want to change it, you have to. And D makes a good point. You want to take your money and pool it and put your kids in your own education system, then we have to do that. But that's something that other groups have done, and it works. You know what I mean? So I think we have to do, follow suit. But I'm not surprised. The South is going to be what it is, and if you live there, I'll say this: the people that live there already know where those lines are drawn as well, and those people they don't rock the boat.
You know where you're supposed to be and where you're not supposed to be.
Right.
I remember talking to my father about it one time. He said, he grew up in the South. Obviously, he was born in 40, and he said, the funny thing about it is, I never really felt like I experienced racism. He said it was just understood that there were certain places you just didn't need to be, and that's how they just thought of it. You know what I mean? Right. You just you have no business being over there,
right?
And but it was racism. That was the ultimate, the seed or whatever, the essence of it, So
no question.
No.
Speaking of some old crazy ass shit again, Florida's in the news again. 3 11-year-olds arrested for plotting and setting the school in Florida on fire.
Wow.
Now I know some bullying going on, but this is just Florida, so this could have been anything. This could have been they didn't like the color of the school flag or something in Florida. But thoughts, gentlemen, on Florida and 11-year-olds set a fire.
Man.
What were they upset about?
think they was trying to get certain kids, right? They wanted to get certain kids out the building or some shit like that, some crazy shit.
They had a beef with certain kids in the building. They just want to set the building on fire.
Yeah, and they want to trap the bad kids or something like that. Burn the bad kids on a certain
the rude kids. I think it was the rude kids.
Right? Yeah, the rude
kids. Yeah. So they basically 11-year-old, they're going to set a fire in the school to try to kill off the rude kids and not realizing how many kids they're going to possibly kill, period, you know. But, I mean, it's sad when I hear people that young with a mindset like that. You know, it's actually scary to me, you know, to even get together and you get three people to be able to agree on something like that. That's very scary to me.
That's a kitty conspiracy, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they all decided that they were going to get together and do this together and commit arson, perhaps murder, you know? So what was the point, you know? It's crazy that they think like that, as you say, at that age. Shouldn't be thinking about stuff like that, man. You shouldn't have that kind of stress on them, you know.
At 11,
we have to kind of pay attention to the stress that our children are under right now too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, we're dealing with some unprecedented times. So, and there's very little guidance that we can give them at times as adults, because we, you know, just dealing with the COVID, the pandemic, the world, you know, the recession that we're dealing with. There's nothing there that we can really tell them, you know. There's just like an environmental stress that just permeates everything, you know, from the minute you turn your television on to no matter, you know, if you go out to eat, if you just walk in the streets, just out there, and we just have to be reflective of that. And I think it's probably reflective of that, you know. If the root cause of bullying needs to be addressed, I think it's worse than bullying. You know, I think it's beyond bullying, you know. But yeah, bullying, absolutely.
Out of respect to my mother, I think what we need is the belt, the return of the belt. The belt has to come back. That's what it is. The return of the belt. I know it's not popular, but somewhere along the line, we've deviated from it. It's got to come back and make an appearance. You know what I'm saying? Because I got beat for everybody else. I got beat, so you would have to get beat. So what I'm saying is,
I would have been thinking about
timeout doesn't do anything that involves matches or whatever like that result in a beating. I mean, that's just the bottom line. But kids, honestly, they don't know. They really don't know all the stuff that you think about. They're not thinking that far.
Yeah. Back in the days, Calvin, they would beat the arson out of you.
They beat on me.
Would have never got that far. Right?
Well, to tell you the truth, back in the days, the beating was the medicine for a lot of stuff.
It was.
You know, there was no ADHD back then. They would beat it out of you.
Let me tell you something. When I set the garage on fire, that's why I don't smoke today.
Yeah.
That beating, anything that involves fire, I don't mess with.
You know why? Because they would set your ass on fire with a belt.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's it. You know,
tear that ass up. Well, let's go, Jamie. Man, take us our first commercial break tonight, brother.
Hi, I'm Dawn Kelly, and I'm the founder and CEO of The Nourish Spot, a healthy food and beverage haven in Southeast Jamaica, Queens. Chosen in 2019 as Micro Business of the Year by the U.S. Small Business Administration. My adult children, Jade and Owen Duncan, and I established The Nourish Spot to provide affordable access to healthy produce, to help our neighbors combat chronic diseases, to provide jobs for a diverse community youth. And it's no secret that small businesses play a critical role in the local economy. It's also proven that community is vital to the growth of small businesses. So come, let us nourish you at The Nourish Spot. We're open Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 6, and Saturdays, 10 to 6 p.m.
Ron getting the snacky snack on.
I'm auctioning off one of my mother's game-worn jerseys and belt. It's autographed. It's vintage. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
See, that's you don't even have to. That's all you need right there.
Yeah.
Soon as I never heard that sound, you knew it was on.
Yo, I never got beat, yo.
You get no ass whoopers, D, man.
Never got one. Never got one, bro.
Did you deserve some, D?
Nah.
Nah, see, I don't believe that part.
He deserves some now.
Maybe not, but yeah, you're right about now. But I never got beat, man. Word up. Man, this weekend, man, we got a good treat, man. With hip hop came back, like the essence of hip hop. Great songs where you had the positivity and you had some of the street stuff and you had the b-boying, you had dancing. Karis won versus Big Daddy Kane at the Barclays here in Brooklyn, New York. I was in the house. I was actually very happy that I got to witness that live, to see these two great legends and some of the legends they brought out there, man. Guys, your thoughts? You know, we some hip hop heads. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, D, give us a little bit first. You was in the building, so give us a little.
So I got there late. I was on some CP time. That wasn't my fault, but I got there a little late. But I got there enough time to see a good part of the show. The building was nothing but love, man. It was the who's who was there in the building. It was very entertaining. It was, I mean, like you guys saw on probably on TV, Fat Joe and the names, and just the old school cats. Just to see that our guys are around and they getting closer to 60. Because it seemed like we losing cats every day, but it was just genuinely love. Like nobody was acting like Karis won or Kane won. It was just like hip hop won. It was our culture, our childhood, the songs. Everybody brought, songs like they had brought you back to a time and a place where you was at. Like, from like the Bridge Over, Queen's Cats was mad at it, but we could not stop dancing to it. Yeah. That shit was fire. You know what I'm saying? When Kane went, you felt like you was the shit again. Like you was ready to do, all your little dances and all that kind of stuff. And it was beautiful, man. Just to see him, like, and to see them in good shape. Like these guys looked like they were still in good shape. Like Kane, breath, like jumping up and down and still rhyming at the same time, like the age of 50-something.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Very impressive. Karis One's voice, his confidence is still, and he never lacked of confidence. So he just, in the way he still can, it was just dope. It was really dope. And just seeing DJs scratch records. Damn, what happened? Like, man, they brought out certain people.
Right.
They came out. Das Effects was there. It was just dope.
Nice and Smooth
was there. Great. What's the other guy? Spark Madism. I forgot the dude's name. He was there. He performed. So it was kind of dope, man. Really dope. I don't think I was mad. I thought Karis was going to end the show with the bridges open. I was like, why did he bring that out so early? Like, not early, but kind of. I thought that was going to be the last song of the night. Okay. The crowd loved it. The crowd was loving it. So.
What would you say like the age range of the crowd was? Like our age mostly, or you saw a lot of young people there too?
Mostly our age. Like mostly our age. I would say like 40s to 50s to 60-year-old people was in there. And just like old b-boys, see a lot of old gangsters. So a lot of old gangsters there. A lot of old throwback chicks were there too, thinking they still got it. It was out there too. a lot of button guts out there. A lot of button guts. But it was a good night. Yeah. And it was so crazy. The police everybody was on chill. Everybody was on chill. It was just the coolest night. Cops were saying what's up. Like you couldn't what up, man? Everybody was on chill.
Because of the vibe of the crowd. I mean, you got older people there. People got families, kids now, and whatever. It wasn't young and reckless.
Nope.
I mean, I saw it, and I thought it was dope.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I just always could never connect KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane, like for that to be like a versus. I would have never thought of that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I thought it was good. I thought it was definitely good for the culture. But I can definitely relate to what you're saying, D. It took you back to where you were when that song was out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I got out of it when I was watching it. It took me back.
I thought it was good. I forgot that KRS-One had so many radio hits. Though I forgot about that, like the Sound of the Police and all that stuff like that. I forgot about that. I thought it was good. I thought it was competitive. I knew both of them was going to give a good show. That I did know. So I really enjoyed that part of it. And I do like the kind of competition part, even going back and forth with Scratch and Kid Capri. I thought that was a good look. And I thought, what it's doing is, and see, I think hip hop set itself up for where we are right now, which is not a great thing. They set themselves up they imposed their own age discrimination within the genre. That was something that hip hop did to itself. That was one of the disses. You just old, you whatever like that. Whereas realistically, I mean, Kane at one time went off a rip where he was just flowing as fast as anybody. You know what I mean? And so now I think they're going on tour. It's giving them a lot more exposure. KRS-One to me has not been on one of these big stages like this in a long time. Yeah. So it introduces them to another generation. And now I think it kind of restarts them and stuff like that. I was wondering, and this is going to be kind of unfair to ask, if this era of hip hop now was the first iteration of it, would it have made it 50 years?
Yeah. You mean the one that we're in right now?
So in other words, if you started off with these people, the Lil Nas X's and the people that are out now, do you think it would have lasted the 50 years?
No, it wouldn't have lasted 5.
The foundation was so tight, right? I think the foundation was tight enough where they're able to now get old with hip hop. You know what I mean?
You have to remember that this new generation of hip hop is built on that old foundation. And what do we have to do? Remember, there was a lot of resistance to hip hop. You know what I mean? When we were coming up, we had to watch. We needed Rakim, who was just a master of lyricism and music and never said a single curse. All right, so all of the music was great. And it could be played on the radio and it could reach the masses. You can't do that with this new generation, all right? But they're able to have the platform that they are. They're able to have the freedom that they have because the foundation was built. Remember, there was a time when hip hop or rap music was illegal, essentially illegal, let's say in England, all right? But now you've got great music coming out of England, great music coming from coming internationally. If you ask me, hip hop lives internationally now. I mean, the true form. They're still keeping the b-boying alive and everything from our generation. Like in Japan is killing it. Germany's killing it. Yeah. So
with that, it's the culture. What they didn't. This generation doesn't have the culture of it. Like you got Kelvin. When you think about when I said it, you had b-boying. Like you had like Crazy Legs, all those kind of cats. When you had the dance element to it, you had the graffiti. That was part of it. Right. And remember, this was given. This generation had nothing, so you took like Flash invented the crossfader. They had like it was a rent party when up in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Like those kind of things. That was a culture thing. If it would have came out now was all commercial and messed up, it would have faded out just like anything else.
It would have been disco. You would have had it would have been disco. Is what it would have been.
Right. Right.
Go back one comment is our generation were the actual creators. The new generation is sampled and overproduced and redone. Yeah, and that's it. That's what their sound is. Even though hip hop and rap was created, it was we sample music, samples and literally taking somebody's music and just and playing it and remixing it and making it different. But what they're doing now is something completely different. You know what I mean? So everything that they have is rehashed, and that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if they were doing something with it. But I think the value system is different now. Our value system we were in our generation when we were creating something. We were creating a movement. It was ours. We were creating something that was uniquely ours. We had language that no one understood. You know what I mean? With us, they don't have that now. You know what I mean? They have now. It's just all blind commercialism and how much money you're making, and how you look, and all that other thing. It's just not built on the same.
It seems a lot more disposable to me, and that's why you hear the radio. We're taking it back in the day, the 2017. I mean, it's just that's how it is now. So, and I think some people just gotten lazy with it. And this is probably going to sound like a bias, and it may be. They started making music for strip clubs, I understand, and that's what I'm told. So that's why it's just about the hook. Yeah. So when it left New York, I think a lot of the lyricism, it left New York, it bounced out to LA, and then it just went to the South, and it just stayed there. And so, I think you do have some lyricists that are still around, like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and people like that. But a lot of it, to me, has become really watered down in a lot of cases.
But it's in the soul.
But even in the commercial gimmicky stuff, let's just use Humpty Hump. what a good gimmick. He was the same person.
Yeah.
But he had two different. That was a gimmick, but it was a musical. It was a party record. It was just like dope.
It was creative.
Like me and the Biz when he had the dummy. Me and the Biz. That was some different kind of stuff, man. Even like you look at MC Hammer, what Hammer even brought to it. But he brought like even that West Coast dancing to it. Hammer still was bringing a show to it. These kids have the show is just like throw myself in the crowd, take off my shirt with a bunch of jewels on. It's just some weird ass hip hop shows now. Like guys, some weirdo shit. So
with a $700 belt and my pants under my ass.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the term.
Yeah, we have variety though. That's the thing. It was about variety. You know, you had different sounds, different images. Now it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Once you turn corporate, the idea of a corporation is to make more money. So what are they going to do? Keep putting out the same thing that worked last year and the year before that, So now you wind up with the same genre of music. Everything sounds the same.
Sounds the same.
Three producers. You know what I mean? That make all of the music. You know what I mean? And that's just where we're at right now, you know.
We were just fortunate, man. We were fortunate to live in a time where we had a chance to see, you know, Run DMC, LL Cool J. We had a chance to see Prince. We had a chance to see Michael Jackson. We had a chance to see, just great, talented art. Whitney Houston. We came from an era where music, just the era was just amazing, and I think
Talent mattered.
Now what happens is everybody gets exposure because of the internet. So, you don't have to find talent. What it is popularity and views and eyes and things, and substance takes a back seat. And so the other thing I think I always say this, they didn't necessarily do it to get rich. Some people got rich from it, but they didn't do it to get rich. I think now the intention is like, I want to get famous and rich.
True.
So that means I got to have a hook that just says the same thing 24/7, and I'll do that to get rich. And I think that's the difference.
Yeah, like Ice Cube said it. He said when they made their records, he said it was happy to be just local. And like you get in the club, like I get in the club and perform. They was happy for that. I tell people all the time, like when one of the songs like Black Medallion, when the No Go, hanging out Mace, that buddy all in my face.
All over
the place. They didn't care about the gold and jewels, but now it's like the pop the bottle. It was more about the culture. And I always talk about we had songs like this in South Apartheid and stuff like that. These kids have nothing to stand on. When you just said, Kelvin, about the R&B music, just think about R&B. I don't know an R&B song out right now that you want to go ahead and make love. I don't know one.
I think you got a point there.
I don't know. I really don't know. What do y'all do to romance? It's like, like hit it from the back.
And the thing is, I think maybe their R&B sex version is like, it's very explicit. Like,
there is no romance.
There's no romance. It's raw sex. And, it's vulgar too, to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying?
It's no women singers.
Huh?
No women singers.
What they're doing with
pussy.
Female, that's their love songs.
Man.
Well, I got one better for you. I think if you're under 30 years of age, if you're under 30, I don't know that what it is to have somebody sing something romantic to you.
Yeah,
I don't.
No, you know what? We got a couple comments right here. Tim G, there's nothing innovative now. Yeah, there's nothing innovative now. We have so many lanes: X-Clan, KRS, Rakim, NWA, B-Boys, Fat Boys with the gimmicks, music dance to. This is now music to get high to. Some of the artists, you can't even tell them apart, the men and the women. They're looking alike. It sound like 100% right there.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is so
right
true.
Now. It is where we are right now.
I don't know, man.
I always tell my kids, I say, I don't know what you're going to listen to musically. I don't know what your thing is. What you're going to ride out for the rest of your life. And it's their time. They have to express themselves. It's their age. So I don't know what they're going to come out with, how they're going to express themselves, how they're going to find their voices, how they're going to find their identity, explain the identity to the world. But
no, it is. The hip hop was the kids that came out the civil rights movement too. It was it was the rebellious kids, like that part. The kids now come out with the selfish generation, which we had with the drug generation, all kind of stuff like that. So that's why I don't know how. Hopefully, it could go back to Black Supplies, like Kelvin, the thing was said. Kids could look at this and say, "Man, they may open up a whole new wave of kids thinking like I could be like a KRS-One. It's okay to be that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hopefully that can happen and with this hip hop thing, man. It'd be great, man.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
but the thing is, too, I think to the younger generation today, you know, a guy KRS went up there standing up there with no jewelry and his pants sitting right on his ass. I mean, that's going to look corny to them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the thing is that I do like about the verses when you bring back the old school guys is I do love that their careers get somewhat revitalized. They get more social media followers, and they're going to book more gigs now and do more shows where we can actually now go see a show to some degree. You know, that's the part I like about it as well.
Yeah. And you can bring your kids to that show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. Yeah, you don't have to worry about nobody doing nothing inappropriate. You know.
Yeah. That's what it is. You know, they were there to entertain, and now they have classics. And when you have classics, they're timeless. Yeah, and you can always. I mean, you know, that's why I was listening to the verses. I mean, when they was coming out with some stuff, I mean, it was amazing. You know what I mean? I mean, like Smooth Operator came on. He's like, man, I thought he would have had to do that early. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they really did. So it's good. And again, it represented the time. And I want to see Slick Rick. I want to see Rakim. I want to see some of them get on because they can still do it. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. That like I don't know who told them y'all got too old. Like I don't know who told them that. You know what I mean?
That's what we got to change because we're the only people that call us our artists old school instead of classic rock, classic punk, classic jazz, classic gospel.
Well, this generation made being older bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They frowned upon being old, like they're not going to get there one day themselves.
Hopefully, Rodney. Hopefully, these motherfuckers got fentanyl all in their goddamn on their nose and shit like that.
Right. But you know,
hopefully,
it's a very 1980s type of feel, though, man. Like right now, it just feels very 80s, very selfish, very you know, commercialism is everything.
And we're prisoners of the moment. We're prisoners of the moment. Like for you to have MTV and have Macklemore or whatever the name, Macklemore or somebody, rapper of the year, and MGK and people like that, you know, I mean.
Yeah, because grandma's 32.
Yeah, because grandma's 32.
I got a question for y'all. Since we talking about verses. And Busta Rhymes Busta Rhymes said, please try to find me a worthy opponent. Who do y'all think can hang with Busta Rhymes? 20 songs on the show.
I think LL, like everybody's saying. I think LL will be good.
No.
I don't think that goes together either. I really don't. I don't think that goes together.
I got only one.
For the record, LL is a certified beast. If we doing a versus, LL will be a certified.
They both have a good. They both got more than 20 hits.
L
both have energy.
Makes you think.
Yeah, I mean, L do the same show though. Same shit. He do that same shit.
But he got hits though.
But you got to do what you do, D.
It's hits.
Yeah,
right?
D. You got to do what you do.
Damn.
Yeah,
I know.
Who is it, D? Who you said would go up there with Busta?
And this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm thinking about you talking about the show, like how Versus is now.
Yeah,
Missy Elliott. 20 songs.
I can see that. They're both really
animated.
I can see that.
Loud.
So you know what?
That's not bad. I can see that.
No, I can see that. But what threw me off is I guess I was being chauvinistic. I wasn't thinking about a female. I was only thinking about a male.
That's what makes it really special. That was a good. That was pretty good. Yeah,
that's the only word I can think of. The made stuff.
I don't think
energy level be like this all night. 20 songs of them is energies like this all night.
Yeah.
I think
Q-Tip would be good. Q-Tip would be good.
No, Q-Tip would not be good. Correct. His fame is being in a group.
Yeah,
it's not as a single artist. I think maybe he's got 3 hits as a single artist. 4 hits.
Vibrant thing.
Yeah. But as now you talking about Tribe Called Quest, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? But not Q-Tip by itself.
Yeah, because you need Fife in them. Well, we can't have Fife.
Well, I think you're right. If they crossed over women and men, if they didn't, I think you got to get L involved somewhere. I don't think L. First of all, you talking about people with better than 20-year careers. You know what I mean? And I know their primes are different times. I get that, but I mean, L can drop like Derek said. L can drop some stuff like
L got you there all night, bro.
L can have you up till you start making a song Big Ellie. After that, I'm done.
Yeah.
After that, anything after Big Ellie.
Yeah, but he don't have to go that far.
I'm Big
You don't
LA.
even have to play
Rock
that
the
beat
Bells,
technically.
I know.
I Need Love.
His catalog is much bigger than that. Yeah,
I know.
From the 80s on, bro.
I know.
But he can bring the energy. L is one of these people that he gonna bring that energy like Busta.
Yeah, he will because when he does that song, then Busta Rhymes goes, "Baby, when you give it to me, I know what you want."
Yeah.
That I can see them
Right.
going those.
But they're saying that people don't want to face Busta.
Nah, Busta's a beat, man. I saw Busta in Vegas. Busta tore Vegas apart, man. It's nothing like a Busta Rhymes show, man. I'm telling you now.
You gotta understand. Busta got some very high energy songs. He can shut a stadium down because those beats, the hooks, the fast rhyming. I mean, it's very up tempo, man. I mean, he could definitely rock a show.
Yeah, Busta's ill, man. I mean, I can't. Only person I can see is Missy, LL, and Missy. Yeah. That's about it. And LL, I think I'll put Missy before I put LL against him. Because it's just the level, the energy level of Busta, man.
Yeah.
And I know Missy had been sick. I don't know if Missy got performance-wise 20 songs on the stage now. I don't know. You don't see her much anymore. I don't think she performs much.
That's a good question.
I don't think she performed much. She came out recently. But I don't. That I'll tell you one thing. What I think is going to happen is, and Big Daddy Kane, and I think Harris One exemplified this. You're going to have to start getting prepared and getting in shape to do this.
Yeah, that is going to stage because this is a promotional.
20 songs is no joke.
This is a promotional to go on your 20, 30 show tours.
Yeah.
This is a promotional.
Right.
Well, any artist should be on shape because doing a show is a lot of energy. You got to jump around. You got to go back and forth. I mean, it's a lot of talking. You can't get out of breath when you're singing, so you need to be in shape. You know,
right.
Well, here go another verses they want to say. You see what Drew Hill said. They want to call out anybody nobody can see them.
Drew Hill?
Drew Hill. I said, I don't know about that.
No, somebody told him wrong.
Jodeci.
There you go. Jodeci could give Drew Hill a run for
Jodeci, Boys the Men.
I don't think nobody can fuck with Boys the Men.
Yeah,
not singing word up.
It's got to be Jodeci, Boys the Men, because they both came out and they both hit that 1991.
Boys the Men catalog is insanity.
It's
insanity.
You talking Temptations or something, bro? Like it's on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but it's got to be them against Jodeci. That was their big rival.
Not making this.
Hey man, we love making this.
Your wife got jokes about that.
You got a good wife, Derek. You got a good wife.
That's my baby. I support him.
You got a good wife.
New Edition. Did they do one yet? Or no?
No, they didn't do no verses.
I wonder who. I'll be kind of good though. They had
doing verses against themselves.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's true.
Ralph and Bobby against BBD.
You had Bill Biv DeVoe versus New Edition.
Didn't Bobby Brown do one? Didn't Bobby Brown do one against somebody?
Yeah.
Keith
Sweat, and I ain't like that.
He's fat.
I ain't like Keith Sweat.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because I just never thought Keith Sweat,
Yeah,
that wine and stuff is just, and all Bobby had to do was drop My Prerogative, Don't Be Cruel in every little step, and that's it.
It's over.
Bobby's album alone killed everything.
Yeah.
His one album, the second album was dope. Yeah. Second album was fire, man. But
classic, gotta say it's a classic now, man.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah,
that was a beast.
Man, let's be on entertainment, man. Judge refuses to dismiss Jesse Smollett's case from trial set for November.
Juicy Smollett.
So his trial's gonna go to November, but people forgot the allegations of saying that he was beat up and
just
put a noose around his neck.
Come out and say you lied. Come out and say whatever your judgment was impaired. Just there's a certain point where the lie is over, right? There's a certain point where the lie is over, and I think he doesn't want to pay. They want to charge him for all of the resources that they expended trying to solve this.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And
they want to recoup man hours.
I still want to know why. It cost you being on the show. I mean, I would like to know why. Like see what bothers me is all the stuff that people do when they literally have a real racial issue. For you to come and stage something, it makes no sense.
I know.
It's such a slap in the face. That cry wolf crap is such a, you know what I'm saying? And you give credibility to those that act like there's some type of race card people play. you just created it and played it. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah,
you know,
I think they're trying to make an example of Jesse Smollett. What he did was, I thought, definitely set us back a few years. And you got to look at the severity of what he did. The only defense that I could say is like when they pursuing a case against him. I think his lawyer's defense is probably going to be that other people have made false reports before and they've never been faced with this, something this serious about being convicted, which they may have a point, and they're doing it to him because he's a celebrity and he did this. But they definitely are trying to make an example out of Jesse Smollett, and in my opinion, a little bit rightfully so. He should have never did that shit.
Yeah, it was no reason.
There was no legitimate reason to do something like this.
And, especially when you consider where we are
allegedly.
Right now. Allegedly.
But what I'm saying is think about it realistically. When you think of a black man and you think of a noose around his neck, I mean that is something that it's just putrid. And for you to simulate that, if he is lying, and so I'm just trying to do like you allegedly, but we all believe, I'm sure, that he's lying. For you to do that, it's a slap in the face to people that had family members lynched and things like that. For you to sit there and do, first of all, you going out to Subway sandwich place at 2 a.m, right? Then the thing is, suppose you take powder and throw it over yourself. You take this, you call the cops, and when they get there, you still got the noose around your neck.
That's the thing that made him think it was bullshit, because he still had the noose on.
You're an act. You know what I do if I'm him? I'm like, look, I was getting prepared for a role. I did all this just prepared for a role. I wanted to see. I was doing a reality show and nobody knew it, because this is the dumbest thing ever.
Kelvin, if I'm not mistaken, he wore the noose all the way to the hospital.
He's right. I remember that.
He wore it away to the hospital.
Right.
That's not normal behavior of anybody that's been traumatized like that. You want that noose off your neck immediately.
Right.
And that's what kind of got at the police to that this guy may not be telling the truth.
The lawyer should go with the temporary insanity. He's got to do it. There's no other way. Even though it was so premeditated, it's got to be. There's no other way that you can explain this. You're already famous. You already have money. You got a successful show. You got a successful career. And now you need to stoke the flames of race more for what? And it's not even real.
And the two guys that helped him, they're cooperating.
And they should.
Yeah, and they should.
I ain't going down for Juicy.
Right.
Who's your co-defendant? Juicy? He ain't go to jail with a co-defendant named Juicy.
Now, let me ask you this question. Do you remember the Olympics in Brazil when I think his name is Locke or something like that?
The white boy, the white boy, right?
Yeah. And then he goes and says that he was held up at gunpoint. And the next day he's on a Today Show. And he's like, the guy put the gun in my face and said, get down. Yeah. I'm like, dude, whatever. And I'm like, so now you got to lie and make yourself a hero in the story and then get caught out there. And Brazil was really working hard to say, we want to make sure none of our athletes get in any type of problem so people know about the danger in Brazil. And to do that, I don't understand what goes into that mindset. I don't know if you need to be like a hero or you need to be a victim. I don't know what it is.
Or you're just seeking some attention. I don't know.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's insane. Right.
I mean, Juicy said, you went too far, guy. I mean, you should have did this. Allegedly should have did it.
I just feel like it was the biggest waste of time when you really look back and just look at his motivations, allegedly. And just where we are, just kind of like, in a society in terms of culture right now, and views, it just seems like the biggest waste of time, man. You just really killed yourself for what,
Yeah.
But wait a minute.
Worst that could have happened.
Hold on a second. We keep saying allegedly. Didn't they fire him from the show because of that?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
When he get fired for? That's what I want to know.
Allegedly for lying.
Yeah, allegedly for lying, making this thing up. Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah, man, you gonna jam us up. Juice ain't coming over to sue us. Our little nickels and shit.
And plus, he gonna need the money soon. So
word up.
You know what it remind me of? It reminded me of I was recently rewatching the R. Kelly interview with Gayle King. He's like, guys, there are real girls out there being abducted. There's real girls being raped. I'm like, yes, that's what you hear.
Yeah. Actually, the girls are safer because you're right here right now. You know what I'm saying? They're actually safer.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's like, y'all wasting time on me. There's real predators. No. You are the ringleader.
He was getting antsy because the interview was taking too long. He wanted to be out there being a predator. So he said, I got to get out of here. You guys are killing me right here.
I rush through the interview like, look, I ain't got no babysitter tonight. I got to get
Oh God! That's allegedly.
All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell on myself. I gotta share this story. And this is, but in my defense, I was a kid, just being stupid. This back in the early '80s, my mother gives me $20 to go to the store and get some potato chips. Now you remember the old like Wise bag of potato chips be like 99 cents back in the day. My mother gave me a 20. She probably just wanted change. I go to the store, buy the stuff, and in my mind, I'm like, I want to keep this change. I take the $19 and put it in my Spider-Man piggy bank, and my mother's like, "Where's my change?" I say the man didn't give me any change, and in my mind, she's gonna eat that $19. My mother gets in the car, brings me up there, and she ready to spaz out on the dude at the deli. The man's like, "Miss, I gave your son the change." Here I go stupid in the background. No, you don't. You didn't give me no change. You just want me to get beaten. That's what it was. And I mean, when I tell you, my mother found that money in that Spider-Man bank, I'll tell you. I'm telling you.
Whoop your ass.
I'm trying to tell you. You know what I did? I went outside and got some powder and put a noose around my neck.
That was funny, man. That was a good one, man. That was a good one.
At least I was a kid, though. At least I was a kid.
Yeah. But you know, so funny. Christina's did some recent work with Jesse Smollett. So I guess I don't know when it comes out. That's so crazy. So
has he made a statement?
I saw it on our page.
Yeah. Huh?
Has he ever made a statement? Has he done an interview since then?
I don't recall. I'm not sure.
He did an interview.
I think he won. Yeah, did one.
He did an interview before he got caught. That's the one I saw.
Yeah, that's before.
And he maintained the story.
Correct. Yeah. He maintained the story.
Like Rodney say, standing on his square. So
on his square.
Yeah, so he's strong and wrong, but fuck it, you know.
You got to know when to fold them, brother.
Allegedly.
Don't come for us, goddammit. Yeah, man.
Don't be protesting in front of my house.
Word, I want to say that. Don't talk about Juicy. Don't talk about Juicy. Oh man, fucking Juicy, baby. No, they're gonna juice his ass in November. Let me see. Dr. Dre. This is messed up, man. I don't know how. This is so funny. Dr. Dre was served legal divorce papers at his grandmother's cemetery, man. I mean, god damn.
His grandmother's funeral.
Grandma's funeral, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm reading off my janky ass producer. Jamie wrote that on there, so I'm just reading off my script.
Yeah.
Oh man, you snitched, dude. You snitched.
Yeah.
Moving to the bottom.
Fix his back, man. Fix his back. Yeah. Come on, Jamie. See? Janky ass. Anyhow.
Wait, stop. Y'all messing up my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, don't move him around too much and knock it off.
Oh, yeah. So it's Dr. Dre. Rodney, go ahead, man. Right. You're one of my divorced brothers, man.
Let me tell you something, right? Like, yeah, as D just told, I'm divorced, but previously divorced. There has to be a line drawn somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be in divorces there's a line that you can't cross. Now, I know people get emotional and they get in their feelings, but I don't know. Now, I'm gonna give this a benefit of the doubt. Was this a tactic that maybe her lawyer did to really piss him off? Or does she really know that they were going to serve him at the funeral. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
That's maybe
she definitely told him that his grandmother died. This is the best time to serve him. The wife definitely told him where he's at.
That's see, I was trying to reach for a minute, but then you realize the reach is too short, Z. But the thing is, I mean, divorce is a nasty game, man. It's a very dirty game. But like I said, there should be lines that shouldn't be crossed, and I don't know. Maybe she crossed the line, or maybe the lawyer crossed the line. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure Dr. Dre is not a very happy camper right now about this, you know. But it's ugly.
Should have did it more discreet. Like that was publicly done, and they knew he was going to be there. You might have people covering the funeral because you know he's a big time celebrity. You know, so it's like, come on, man. Like it got to. I know it's no fairness in war, but goddamn, even sometimes people say like, you know, back in the day when like Rome, like Troy, when they had like when people died, they give 7 days or a prince died. Like, shit, let's pause the war for like 7 days.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, come on, you're gonna catch Dr. Dre somewhere. He's not gonna be hiding somewhere. He's gonna have to be somewhere. Right at the funeral, man.
Let me tell you something, right? I remember when I was going through my divorce. I remember calling my ex-wife and I said, "Listen, we don't serve each other papers at each other's job." Now I knew I was opening the door for it. I always said to her, "If you have anything for me, you call me, and I'll go to your lawyer and I will pick it up. You don't have to search for me. All you got to do is call me, say my lawyer got some papers for you, and I would go pick them up." You know, but I seen when I was working, lots of cops got served at work.
Man,
lots of cops got served at work.
You know what's funny, man? This whole situation reminds me of that scene in The Wire where, you know, Omar's taking his grandmother to church and she got a hat on and they start shooting at her.
Correct.
It's not a Sunday.
And they're not supposed to shoot on Sunday. They're not supposed to have no shoot on Sunday.
Exactly. Why? How you going to serve that man? You know what I mean? While he's burying his grandmother. You know, it's like there's no honor in that at all, man. That's
technically his mother, the woman raised him.
Exactly. Really his mother. Right. This is beyond that. You know. So yeah, I'm not. It's just a deep situation, man. I can't even imagine it. And I've never been involved in a divorce. Thank God, you know. But I have no intentions. But man, if it's like that, man, it I don't know what to say. You know, it's amazing how you can have a person, or you can say I love you to a person, and you have this person have so much love and emotion and memories with him, and they just see the whole thing just change on his head, man, and to the point that they do something like that. It's amazing to me.
Well, there's a lot of influence there too, but we're going to save some of this divorce because I think next week we're going to have a divorce segment. Next week. Let's divorce is some very ugly stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's very ugly, and the person you married is not the person that you're divorcing. It's not the same person.
Yeah, no, I understand that. You know,
nobody wants love in the divorce. They want money.
Money, correct. It becomes strictly business, like EPMD, strictly business.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Word up, man. Word up.
You know.
Oh man, speaking of we talking about R. Kelly's a slime ball. This guy, man, Africa Bambaataa sued for alleged child sexual abuse. Man, everybody know he made Planet Rock and stuff like that, man. But we heard about these alleged claims of this years ago with Africa Bambaataa. I remember his road manager spoke out about him to go into Africa and I guess buying boys to do these alleged acts. So thoughts on this, gentleman?
Yeah, I mean, African Bambaataa had a huge history of allegedly, assaulting children and young boys and stuff like that. There's guys that have come out. I think there's a social media personality that came out and said that he was molested by African Bambaataa allegedly. But I mean, this has been floating in the air for a long time, you know, and I don't see how so many people can make allegations like this without there being definitely some substance there. You know what I mean? Too many people have hit it.
So you look at it almost like a Bill Cosby type of situation where there's so much smoke that has to be fired.
Correct. Correct.
You know, I guess so. You know, that is to me the most heinous crime that you could commit. I feel. You know what I mean? I can't think of anything that's quite. I mean, it's just rape. It's rape. You know. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about this guy. It's hard to, almost like an R. Kelly situation. It's hard to on one hand separate his act allegedly from his music, and from his influence over the music that I love and the culture that I love, and which has been so instrumental in my personal growth, in my own identity, so it's just kind of hard to divorce it, man. It's hard to understand it to be the same. I love Planet Rock, man. I love his music. I love their music, man. It might be one of my top 5 favorite songs, man. To be honest with you,
And I think you could still. I think you could still. It depends on the person. Sometimes I can't listen to certain things anymore because it brings me back to the person. But I think it's fair if a person says, "Hey, I like the song, what they produce." The thing that bothers me is, I think you can tell a lot of times when someone is guilty by the way they defend themselves.
Or lack of.
What would you say?
Because what I'm saying is this: if you accuse me of something, right, and you say, "Well, Kelvin did something foul or did something with an underage girl," or something like that, right? I'm not only saying it's not true. I'm not gonna be up here. Somebody, my lawyer said, "Not, no. I'm telling you right now. You can write it down. It's not true. It didn't happen, or whatever." That's what I'm saying. And to me, like you said, these rumors have been floating around for years. I don't think he's been strong enough in his defense of it or whatever like that. Because I'm saying if you say it's me, I'll stand there on the stage with the accuser, and I say, every bit of proof you have, you can show it right now.
Yep.
You can show it right now. Remember when Kelly was sitting there on an interview and they said, "Did you watch the tape?" You talking about, "No, I didn't watch the tape." Right there.
Has he been has he been charged yet though? Like, has anyone actually heard him say the words, "I didn't do it"?
Oh, African Mabata?
Yeah, either.
I think he's denied it in the past.
He denied it, and remember somebody stabbed him. Remember he got stabbed up.
Yeah.
So somebody was trying to kill his ass.
But he hasn't been arrested for anything. I think he's just being sued right now for it.
Right.
I think one of his alleged victims is suing him for it.
Right. Finally, I think what happened is this R. Kelly stuff finally is about to break the floodgates open. People are just really gonna go after this stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man. I mean, just a fantastic talent, man. Love. Yeah.
We should have showed this company. Let me ask you this question: Was African Mabata and them the hip hop village people?
That's a good question. They were modeled after him. You've seen the album covers.
I'm just saying.
It makes one thing.
You might have a point there.
Got a point. Yeah. K-Russ defended them.
I remember that. You're right, Tiger. I remember that.
That's another thing I'm not doing. I'm not defending you more than you do.
Yeah.
Point there on that as well.
And I realize I'm also not going to defend something I can't prove or disprove.
Correct. And the thing is, you got to be careful.
With me don't mean you ain't do that.
Correct. You got to be careful when you defend somebody, especially about a subject like that. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, like, I want to know how you even accidentally get accused of something like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The thing is, that's not several times. The thing is, that's not like Derik said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Nobody gets accused of something like that numerous times. People go their whole life and never get accused of something like that.
Word.
And it's not like you the biggest star in the world. Not like somebody trying to they can go after a lot more people.
And he ain't rich either.
That's what I'm saying. Ain't nobody like, "Hey, I gotta get that Planet Rock royalty." Nah, I think what it is.
and allegedly, there's like a little bit of group of guys that he was doing it with.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. As I'm saying, well, they're the hip hop village people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's different. That's still different than pedophilia, though.
That's true. They were grown. They were doing with grown ass men. They were going with grown men. That's true. That's very true.
That's something else, man. That's reprehensible. People will kill you over their kids. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And to me, we have to be honest. It's a sickness.
It is.
I don't know what you can do about the sickness. I don't know how you. Rodney always said it's not treatable.
It's not treatable. It's not treatable. He's right. It's not treatable, and it's not rehabilitatable. Yeah. Right. You can't. When you come out of jail, you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. And the only thing that's going to stop you from doing it again, unless you're like maybe 97 years old.
No, if it was my child, I know something that's going to stop you from doing it.
It's called the bullet.
You're not going to age out. I can tell you that.
But the thing is,
You're not going to age out.
I don't want to make any open confessions on this show.
Yeah, true.
But the thing is, like I told you, we're not going through no trials. We're not going through no juries. We're not doing none of that. We're not doing none of that.
No,
Because I know how the system works. The system is going to victimize your kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Man, speaking of systems, LA County wants Vanessa Bryant to undergo a psychiatric examination with her. I think she has a lawsuit going on against them, releasing these pictures of her husband and daughter crash at the crash site in their bodies and stuff like that. So,
yeah, Vanessa Bryant is Kobe Bryant's wife.
Oh, yeah,
widow. Actually, Kobe Bryant's widow, and she has a lawsuit against Los Angeles County. Where the helicopter crash took place, and they want her to take a psychiatric evaluation to prove if she's been distressed or distraught over pictures of the scene being released by firemen and deputy sheriffs. I think it's freaking ridiculous that they would do that. You know. Now the thing is, I feel Kobe Bryant's wife probably has a lawsuit strong enough to probably bankrupt Los Angeles County. I really do. You know, I don't know if you guys remember. That's why the Biggie Tupac murder never got solved, because there was LA cops involved, and that lawsuit would have bankrupt LA. You know, so that's why they made sure that case never got solved. And I think this is the same thing. They are just another thing too. They're not denying that it happened. They basically found out that some firemen or some deputy sheriffs showed the pictures to a bartender in the bar, and that it was basically proven already that this happened. Then you had the governor create a new law that says that if any first responders release pictures of a scene, now it's breaking the law. So they're not denying that this happened.
No, what the issue is, Rod, the issue is whether it caused her stress, which is what she's suing for.
Correct. The bottom line is this: the question whether she was caused her stress as a result of losing her daughter and her husband in a car crash, and then their bodies to be released on photos. I think she is under some serious stress for that, and I think she's doing the right thing. And she
the people that right, but of course they're going to, you know. What happens is when it comes to paying money out, you know, I remember my house got robbed, and I'm thinking everybody can be some we're sorry. No, insurance company was like, you got any pictures of the stuff that you said you lost?
I mean, Kelvin, that's a little big difference.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is, in other words, just because you're victimized and somebody got to pay you, they're going to try not to pay you.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, there's something called settling too when you're wrong.
But I'm saying she's suing over duress, right? They want to know. Well, we want to know if you was really stressed.
But but let me ask you a question: how many people have had to have psychiatric evaluations for lawsuits like that? This is not common. This is not common at all. This is a stall tactic. That's what it is.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, listen, anything not to give that money, they would, if they could buy more time on the clock, whatever they'll do.
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, we know obviously this is ridiculous, but I mean, of course they're gonna go for it. That's how they are.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I hope that she fights until the end. I hope she does bankrupt their ass.
Well, she got the ammunition to go through with it. I can tell you that.
She got money to make it ride all the way. Yeah.
I was going to say, and then like, you know, Biggie probably say, oh, he's a gangster rapper, whatever you want to say, but and they ain't have that kind of money like Kobe Bryant wife.
She got millions of fans. She got millions of fans that man had that would actually pay the legal fees for her. Like,
yeah, that's what the thing is too. She has access to attorneys that could blow the frame off, like I said, Los Angeles County. And that's what they're afraid of.
That's what you said, Rod. They're going to settle.
They have no choice.
They're going to settle.
No choice.
Because she wants to settle, because she don't need to settle.
No, she doesn't need to settle. That may be a problem as well. That's why I said she probably has a lawsuit strong enough to bankrupt them.
Because she got 99 problems, but money ain't one of them.
Money ain't one of them. Yeah.
Right.
Money ain't one of them.
Her own self, then, if that's the case, man. You know, she might.
And let's face the facts. You know, first responders do that. They absolutely do it. They absolutely do it.
You got a city motivated, however, you got a city motivated by money like that, she better watch her own self, man, because, like you say, she's got a war chest for real. She got nothing but time. She can sit back and she can, and access to the best lawyers, she can get the best outcome that, but, they fighting for they might, if what you're saying is true, Rodney, then, LA's fighting for their financial life, man, so no telling how desperate they'll get.
But think of the psyche of somebody. I wouldn't even want those images on my phone.
Word.
Well, you got some people that are very morbid, and you got to realize that, maybe somebody was thinking maybe they could actually sell the pictures as well.
Yeah, man. All money ain't good money. I know that.
Right. That's so I don't even see those kind of things. I remember a family member of mine showed me pictures of my father's funeral. I didn't want to see my father in the coffin anymore. I had that one day I had to deal with that. I didn't want to see that no more. But showed it to me at Thanksgiving. Like, what the fuck you showing me these things for? So
what?
I was like, yeah, man.
They brought it to Thanksgiving.
Word to everything I love, bro.
Wow.
Now, what they used to do was take pictures of people in the casket for people that couldn't make the funeral back in the day.
I know, but I don't want to. Like, I was there.
I'm with you though.
I was front row. Like, I'm not. I don't want to. No, I'm good. I don't need to see that.
You know what I do, D? As a eulogist now, a lot of funerals I go to, I don't even look in the casket anymore because I don't need to see the person in that state. I remember,
exactly.
They never look the same anyway, man. To me, every time I looked at it, they never look themselves, man.
I look at it like it's not even them anymore. Anyway, to me,
it really isn't. Yeah,
it's not even. It's just the housing. It's not. It's just That's why I don't go to cemeteries and talk to the tombstone. It does nothing for me. Knocking those that do just doesn't work for me.
I feel you on that one, man. Man, speaking of something else that was kind of bugged out this past weekend, NBA fans criticized Brittany Renner, Instagram celebrity here, a model, for shamelessly searching for another young boy on a college. I think what college was, Mississippi State, something like that. She went to a third grade college. Talking about hide your boys. I'm on campus.
Somebody said hide your sons, hide your kids, hide your kids, hide your sons. Yeah.
You can imagine if one of us would have said that hide your girls be on campus.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What would have happened? Ain't that some shit?
I mean, she's a businesswoman,
Yeah.
She's a businesswoman. And to be honest with you, I think she's gonna snag somebody again because these guys just don't get it.
They don't get it. Ain't got the sense God tried to give them, man. That thing get hard in the morning.
This reminds me of I think what Derik said earlier about certain lines, or maybe Rodney, when you were talking about going to serve papers at Dr. Dre's grandmother's funeral. But certain lines, to me, at the end of the day, for you to do something like this, you have children. In other words, you one day can explain to your child how they came about. You know what I'm saying? That you was just a gold digger. And I just think, I know today is the Instagram and the model and the exposure and trying to have all the value for whatever. I just think it's too much. I just think we've overplayed it, and for you to constantly do that, to me, there's brokenness somewhere. That's not normal for a young lady to just want to sit there and create that culture. You know what I'm saying? You should think enough of yourself that you could actually go ahead and do something in this world other than take away from somebody else that's doing something just to exploit them. That's what I would think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't think that way.
No, they don't. They don't. We're in a different culture now, but I mean, I don't have any respect for that. One day that'll be a child, not just a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
She's looking for more lottery tickets.
She is.
Listen, that's a profession, bro.
She's saying lightning strike. Yeah, she knows she got a good maybe because she's young, 24, 20. She might have another 5-year run. Maybe. Because there was another new young hot thing coming right behind her. So she might, So
she got to secure that bag right now, man.
What happened to working? What happened?
That's too slow. That's too slow.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think she's gonna find a job making like 100,000 and some change a month. A month, not a year, a month.
Yeah, she making what? 100? You said 100,000 a month, right?
Yeah, it's like 100. I think it was 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000 a month. Yeah, change a month. Yeah, a month.
And she's a
certified. This guy's career, like, come on, NBA career, he might last another 4 years, maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's over.
Well, maybe she's looking for insurance in case maybe his career is shortened.
Yeah.
Catch somebody else.
No, that's her profession, bro. Some people play ball, and she's a certified Thotosaurus Rex.
And not only that, to own it, and now you're gonna market it. You're gonna own it. You're gonna market it. Now you're gonna, all the criticism you receive. Now you're gonna take it and try to just build upon that, just to throw it back in people's face. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
You're gonna have somebody's mother come and confront you, and it's not gonna be good either.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Well,
somebody's sister.
She's not certified. Yeah, that's what you gotta watch out for.
Somebody's sister with a hearscarf on and Vaseline on her face. no earrings on. Yeah.
Hey, yo, right? They ain't got nothing to lose. They in Mississippi. They ain't got nothing to lose.
Right. So the thing is, you got to realize if you're working with some paper, you get somebody's ass whipped for $35.
and a fish sandwich.
Yeah, and a fish sandwich in some neighborhood.
Listen, they just got free.
Yeah,
they got nothing to lose in Mississippi, man. Like, he's talking about like bad behavior with bad choices like out here, man. So it was a fight. It was a football game this weekend, man. And this lady decides she wants to spit on somebody. Fellas, I want to see what you want to do. I want you guys to see the video. Jamie, can you go to show the people the video, please?
Oh, nice. Oh.
That was a lungie. That was like she drank milk and spit. That was a big one. We all saw
it. She got away? She walked out?
Let me tell you something. She would have never made it to the steps. You ever see a rhino charging?
Like this
going up. Yeah, that's what you would have saw. Like, nah, I would have fucked up that day. Yeah, I would have fucking threw everything away that day. I'd have fucked up.
You risked it all, right?
You don't slap a person and you don't spit on a person.
Oh man!
And see, what happens is this: that protection that you're offered because of the gender thing.
Yeah, it's out the window.
Those two things will waive, right? That's why people need to understand that. Like, there's certain things that see. I know people, and I know you guys know people like this too. They only know how to answer conflict with aggression. That's it. And if you run into that type of person, then that's just it.
Yeah.
Now you give the guy credit for restraint. I know a lot of people, most people that would have been it right there. That in her last game in life, that'd have been it. That'd been what they call an elimination game.
Yeah, correct. Every time she would have saw baseball, she would have been traumatized. Every time. If a baseball had a roll across the street, she would have been traumatized.
I'm telling
everything with baseball.
You shouldn't face that brother from Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
There's somebody. No, what she needed was my man with the 8-ball jacket on the subway. That's what you needed.
Oh my God.
That's what you needed. My man, if I was 8-ball, I'd have brought that jacket back with his handprint on it.
Yo, that's a verse.
And I want to set something straight. You're not promoting violence against women.
No.
But I don't see that as a lady at that point.
And look, we got a woman that made a comment, so it's not just us.
That's more than a woman right there. That's a bodyguard right there.
Yeah. The thing is too. My wife would have came out. My wife would have came out of retirement, boy.
Coach, put me in.
She said, "Woo, sit back, big fella. I got this one."
Man, she'd have been 4 hours down in the next.
Yeah. She'd have dragged her from the bottom of the steps to the top. Yeah.
I would have been mad just seeing somebody get spit on. She would have never got out that section.
Oh
man,
it's like the rape thing. I'm like, yo, you spit on that man, like, yo, you gonna face this. Get this smoke.
Yeah.
Get this smoke. Like, I would have blocked that out. Like, nah, face that smoke. Because there's no way you can spit on me and walk away from that shit.
Right.
No way. We went to jail that night. It would have been just jail. It would have been over. It would have been jail. That's all. Like,
I admit the average person come to hear that.
Where Rodney come to
He felt very comfortable in doing that.
Yo, to be honest,
like that's a go-to move for her. Man. That's what it
as soon as you would have called me, D, the bail money would have been on its way. As soon as you had told me what happened, I said, "Say no more. The bail money's on its way."
Sam with a sponsor. Okay.
Yeah. I told you, I probably, as soon as I went to go for it, she'd be like, "Nah, I got this one.
Right?
This was all me." You just keep the crowd back.
And me, if any dude that would have stepped in for her aid, David got that smoke too. You can't get
you can't defend that. You can't defend that. That behavior is unacceptable.
And you can see it was already calmed down. You just doing that over some because I can.
Yeah. And then the arrogantness of how she just walked up the stairs nonchalant, like it was all good.
Right.
Know? Yeah.
Right. Exactly. No, she don't. She knew what it was.
She would have never did that. She would have never did
what at the end of it.
She would have never did that at a Pistons game.
Man.
Or no historical black college dude that came in and did that shit. It would have been over. It was grand opening, grand closing, boy.
Yeah.
But I don't know what makes you think you could do that to somebody. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's the society we in today, you know.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
Like I couldn't even imagine spitting on, no matter how angry I am, I couldn't imagine spitting on somebody like that.
No.
Yeah. It wouldn't even, I don't think it would even enter my mind.
No.
Yeah.
But what do you do as a man, though? Do you just fire up, man? Say you not, because I don't know if he was with anybody. I'm with my wife. Rodney probably would have been with his wife, right? With a situation like that. But as a man, if that happens, man, how do you react to that?
I think it would have been a spur of the moment thing. I think somebody doesn't know how to react. All I know is I think before they know it, the dude with the 8-ball jacket said he never hit a woman before in his life. But my man became a pro at that moment because people just not. No, I'm just saying, like for real. If you go back and look at that, how he can swing a full slap and not hit that pole? I mean, it's like it was desperate. And the girl said she'll be 60-something years old one day and remember that slap. She said it changed her life. Yeah. She said she realized she was wrong. She realized she was wrong, and this woman would have had the same realization. This woman had the same realization. I'm telling you, every time she spit, she do it. If she go to the
Lord's work,
they say spit. She say, "You sure?" That's the truth.
Kelvin out here doing the Lord's work, right?
I'm trying to tell you, people not trying to hear it.
Kelvin, you know my
mind.
mom.
Hearts and minds.
It'll be my song.
Who you gotta try? Who you gotta try?
Try Jesus. Don't try me. Oh man, brothers, this was a good show tonight, man. We had a good one, man. Can't wait to see you next week. Like my man Rodney said, we're gonna talk about divorce. We're gonna have a specialist on it, right, Rodney?
I think we're gonna talk about divorce, and we're gonna talk about it from the female and the male perspective.
There it is.
And I want to tell you this before you go. I just want to say, I know it looked like my Wi-Fi went down. Somebody came and served me papers. That's why they did it while I was on the show. They knew that was that, so I apologize.
You're wrong, man. You're very wrong, man.
Oh man. All right, my brothers, man. I love y'all, man. Peace, and peace.